Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
Hey, sup?
Yo. Having some congestion issues.
Yeah, both of us
Seems
are
like-
just...
We're just dying over here, so I'm sure that'll make for a great podcast.
Well, I just got over a sore throat and had to work at a factory today that has a shitload of cellulose powder. So now cellulose powder is just coating my lungs.
Well,
Yeah.
if it were actually coating your lungs, it wouldn't be an issue. Because you would just be living with it
I'd be-
always.
I'm one with... Yeah, I mean, it's basically just grinded up wood, so... If I want to get closer to trees, I suppose I should start...
So you're swallowing wood, is what you're telling me?
Yes.
Sucking it down.
Inhaling it, sucking it, getting it in my eyes, wood, all day.
I have no excuse. I don't.
Everywhere.
I just suddenly, as we started to record this, I was feeling. Ugh. So I don't know.
I mean,
But,
all that being said, yeah, we're talking about Scrubs today. The
We're talking about Scrubs.
show, not the medical clothing. Uniform. Uniform is the better word. We're talking about the show. When I just looked at the Wikipedia page. When did it start airing? Do we have a
2001.
Okay, that sounds right. Yeah, 2001. It ran through 2010 if you're a bad person, and 2009 if you're, one of the good guys.
Look, I'm not a bad person because I tried to watch that last season. Okay. There are bad people for making it.
I guess we should, let's address that first. Let's address the last season first.
Last. In quotation marks.
There were I don't know, I'd say there were 5, maybe 6 really good seasons of Scrubs, and then there were 2 seasons that were fine. And the last season wrapped things up perfectly. Season 8, just great finale episode. Everything got kind of tied off. It was really good. And what happened, apparently, is NBC, I believe. I forget. Did it go to ABC or NBC?
It
went to ABC.
Went to ABC.
Right. So ABC was like, hey, we want more. The people want more. And the creators are like, yeah, okay, we have this idea for a spin-off series. And the ABC was like, no, call it Scrubs. It was not Scrubs and should not have been labeled as such as it happened.
Well, the thing was, okay, so the reason why ABC clearly wanted more is they bought the rights to Scrubs, but all that was left was that last season 8, which tied off the story, and it was like, this is the end. This is all the Scrubs we wanted to make. And then ABC was like, but we paid all this money for Scrubs. We want more Scrubs, you guys.
Yeah.
So then they're gonna make this, and they had honestly, in that last season they had established a bunch of new characters. There were characters they could have moved on with. They only bring forward one of them, I think, or 2.
A couple, yeah.
But not all of them.
No.
Aziz Ansari is one of the better ones. He's gone. And then, even in that new season, they didn't... one of my problems was, the most interesting, I think, of the new characters that carried over, it wasn't about her enough. And every scene with JD, Turk, and Dr. Kurt are the worst. It's the scenes with the old Scrubs mainstays that are actually the worst in that 9th season.
Yeah. No,
so
I agree.
Bad.
I agree wholeheartedly.
They're totally it's like they have had no character growth. They're like the syndicated comic strip versions of those characters at that point, where it's this is their shtick that they just do because oh god. Why? Because someone's paying us to do this.
The only bit that I liked from the first episode or something was the flashback to the janitor who was, and people, I think it was Turk or someone was like, yeah, no, JD's gone. Like, he doesn't work here anymore. The janitor just like, I'm out. Just drops the mop and leaves. So yeah, the point is, largely, I think we will be not talking about season 9 spin-off, not real season money grab.
I mean, it's the one I watched the most recently, theoretically, because I don't think I've watched Scrubs since then, but that's why it's a little fresher in my mind. I mean, it kind of...
These are questions to be asked before going into the podcast.
Look, it kind of made the rest of the show unwatchable for me, even though I still like it. I just can't go back.
Flip side, I think Scrubs might be my most watched TV show of all time.
I mean, that was the thing. I watched a shit ton of it because, I mean, it was in that era where I would just sit in front of the TV and watch what was on.
Yeah.
And, like, it was on syndication on Comedy Central a shit ton. And I would just sit there, like, all day and just watch Scrubs for hours. And, like, this is good. It's, as far as things that could be on all day, I really like this, so. Yeah. And then it was one of the, like, I liked it enough that when I was in college and the later seasons were coming out, like, I downloaded those episodes because I didn't have cable or whatever.
Yeah.
Or any TV. But I was, like, invested in that show enough to want to see those episodes, and I enjoyed those seasons, you know, until the mistake.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I kind of was introduced to it in the same way. I think the first summer that I encountered it was just reruns that, like, they would air 2 on just local television, like maybe Fox or some shit, I don't know, whatever. They'd air 2 episodes at like a little after lunchtime or around lunchtime, and me and my siblings would be done helping our dad at the garage at about that, well, not done, but, you know, we had lunch break, so we'd come home and we'd have lunch and watch Scrubs, and we were like, oh shit, this is really good, like, we should get more of this. So just, like, mom and dad got into it as well, and after a while we just ended up owning, like, all 8 seasons on DVD and rewatched the shit out of them. Like, I might have seen, like, all 8 seasons through, certainly the earlier seasons, like, I don't know, 10 times, 12 times, a lot of Scrubs. Like,
Yeah.
There's just, and it's good. Like, I'd really enjoy it.
Yep, it's super good, and it was doing, like, I think the like the very early seasons are more, like, impressive because they were just trying to do stuff with the form of the sitcom. Just that, like, I mean, the big one is that they handle an entire arc of a relationship that would usually play out over seasons on a sitcom in one episode. They're like, we're just going to do this story and then move on and then see what happens then, which I really like that idea. I really like taking the obvious thing and getting it out of the way and then seeing, well, then what happens after that.
Am I correct in assuming that you're talking about JD and Elliot?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't think of anything else it would be. So,
yeah, they have them get together, and then there's, like, an episode that's, like, about their whole arc of their relationship the first time, and it's like, it's a really good episode of TV. Like, it's just well made and well thought out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think season 1 is still, like, I mean, it's really, really good for first season, but it's still definitely just a bit of people getting into figuring out their role. I don't know. For some characters, they settled in, like, faster than others. Like, I think JD was pretty strong right away, but Dr. Kelso, in my opinion, is at his best when he's just eating muffins 24/7. Like, that's my Dr. Kelso.
Oh, man. That's, yeah.
Also, I think, I don't know, it's probably the first show and maybe only show for me personally where I really noticed the side characters because they oftentimes put the side characters in the spotlight. I felt like. And I mean, there was one episode basically dedicated to them. I think it was like Ted, Jordan, Todd, and the janitor, maybe? Something. But just like, there were so many strong characters in that show, even the ones that barely do anything. Just, like Beard Doctor, Snoop Dogg intern / resident / whatever. There's a lot of good stuff.
This is like Turner and Hooch. Hooch.
Psychotic. Yeah. Yep. And
Psychotic.
I think of them, what would you say your favorite character on the show was? From the
it probably depends on what part of the show I'm watching.
This guy can't just pick one.
Well, just like again, Bob Kelso. End of the series. He's pretty fucking great.
All right, let me rephrase in a way that might get me the answer I want. Who is your overall favorite character, and why is it the janitor?
I don't know who my favorite character is.
Ugh.
I don't know. Don't know. I was probably the most invested in the J.D. Elliott stuff, just because that's who I am.
That's
that's why those last seasons mattered to me. Oh, I care about
Romance?
standard romance in fiction.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't care about like shipping characters who aren't actually romantically in the show, which is a thing people get into.
Wait. So what about
what I mean.
non-standard romance? Like, what about Warm Bodies?
I mean, that movie where it's the girl and the zombie.
Yeah.
I like that movie. That movie's great.
Okay. All right. Let's open some doors.
I just mean the one that's like canonically the focus of the thing.
Okay.
I mean, in opposed to like the shipping community is mostly interested in ships that aren't canonical, like people who are like shipping characters.
I gotcha.
That's just never been my thing. So like, if there's a standard romantic plot, if I like the thing, I'm probably invested in that.
I think over time, my it's almost like the last Airbender. Like the first time through, I'm like, fuck yeah, Aang and the guys. And then every subsequent watching, I'm like, okay, so Zuko is just 1,000 times better. Like this whole plot is the real meat of the show here.
Sokka is the best.
Okay, well,
Everyone else is second place.
But I really like the JD Dr. Cox relationship. Just because Dr. Cox is also such a good character.
Yeah, he's really good. Again, I think he gets less interesting as it gets later into the show.
Yeah,
I think he's way more interesting up front, or in the like middle,
especially on like a fresh, like if someone was watching it fresh. I feel like,
yeah, he's clearly like a early standout. Him and the janitor, I think, are like.
Me and Peter started watching through because he had never seen it, and I think we got through like the first season or maybe a couple episodes of season 2, and like Dr. Cox was the one that definitely like stood out to him.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's also nice that I mean nice for him being one of the better characters is that he gets a lot of the serious moments. Like there's some soul destroying stuff.
He has the best lines of just like destroying someone verbally in a jokey way, but then also kind of like has the most understanding about like what their job is and how this stuff works. Even though,
for sure.
His personal life is its own nightmare, but
yeah.
Also the Carla and Turk relationship, like how quickly that comes together in the first season, I just really like.
Who and Turk?
I really like, Turk and Carla.
Okay, I thought you said Carl, and I was like, wait, what?
No.
I was so confused. No, they're really good.
When you have like, I just like it when two characters like, oh yeah, they just work together. Like it's not an issue. They don't have like, oh, will they, won't they, or anything. No, these just get along.
Yeah, and there's the couple of times when like shit happens, but it's not like are they gonna get a divorce or something? It's like no, like they're just having a fight. That's a thing that happens,
Yeah.
and it's like it's just gonna be fine because it's them.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it. Like good married couples also. Just I
Yeah.
appreciate it because it's hard. People fuck it up so often.
How I Met Your Mother.
I never watched that one.
I dabbled. I never finished it, which is probably good, but in hindsight, and a lot of people have said this as well. Well, I can't remember. Oh, Marshall and Lily. That sounds right. The married couple on the show. Like, I don't know. It's not a good If you look at it objectively, it's a pretty terrible relationship. Like, it's pretty damn bad. Also, this is totally off topic. Well, I mean, it's within the realm of Scrubs. I noticed that they had it on Netflix for a good long while. It recently got taken off, but they had to change a ton of the music.
Yeah.
And some of it is just not great.
The replacement tracks.
Yeah, like you just know that it, especially having watched it so much, I'm like, definitely not supposed to be here. Why is there like a 2016 pop track in my Scrubs?
Yeah, that's there are a lot of shows that have had that problem with like DVD releases also for some
Yeah.
shows where
Yep.
it's just like the music is bit wrong and they're just like the music was actually such a key thing to this.
Yeah.
But like
There's a portion that I remember what the specific thing was now. There's a section in God knows what fucking episode, but it's supposed to be playing Doctor Doctor, and it doesn't. It's just terrible. Like, it's so fucking off. Maybe it's the one. I don't know. Maybe it's one of the scenes where like girl enters hallway and hair starts blowing. Like, I think it was one of the doctors, like doctor chicks that were on the show. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
just
that's
imagining
the
like the parts with Ted's a cappella band and just some like pop song starts going on when they're singing.
Oh, that'd be. I just love that it's like actually a thing. Like they're just actually an a cappella band. It's fucking great.
I listened to that album a lot.
It's so good.
I love the underdog theme when they do it.
The whole, like, all of their stuff is just
Yeah.
the fucking what was it, like, what did they call it? I forget what they called it, but when they like have the singing telegram thing for Elliot. The best part of waking up is Elliot in your cup. I'm like, it's so good.
It's pretty great.
And then when they randomly, I think their top moment for me is when they introduce Stephanie Gooch onto the show, and they like go into Kansas and just crush it. You're like, wow, fuck, okay, like this is really good.
Yeah, I really like that. I like that relationship too.
I think that was on one of the DVD commentaries, because at least one of the watch throughs involved all the commentary at some point. One of the creators, like, really, as soon as he found out that actor was in a band, he's like, wait, what? Get them here. Like, let's see. And he just loved them so much, and he always wanted more of them. And people had to be like, no, like, we can't do too much. He's like, no, we can. Do it.
More. Always more. That's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Trying to what?
I'm trying to like get some of the seasons straight in my head, because they kind of blur together.
Oh yeah,
a bit for me.
Oh yeah. I think the worst of it is like the girls that JD dates in what order. Like that's a thing. I used to have a more solid grasp.
Yeah. I will say, just because, it's what I think of. The part where, like, before the mistake, where the show had, like, started to lose me,
Yeah.
was, like, I think its moment of, like, you've gone too far is when it's about, like, the angst of the episode is Turk might lose his other testicle now that he's already lost
Oh,
one.
no.
He might have no
That's
testicles.
terrible.
It was bad.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Because they had his daughter kick him in the balls so hard that he went into testicular torsion and lost the ball. They did that story, but then they didn't stop, and they were doing other episodes.
It's just like
They're starting to do it again.
no, that phantom pain though. Oh,
She just couldn't stop kicking him in the balls. She just wouldn't stop.
just can't stop.
And it was part of the girl JD was dating was a testicle doctor. So, like, JD gets kicked in the balls, and she has to, like, help him, just stop him from going into torsion. It's like,
Naturally.
it's too much of this.
Yeah.
Too much of this.
That was a great bit though, with planting the removed testicle and getting a new Turk. That's actually like the what's the I like how the core of the show is fairly realistic-ish, and then just kind of weaving around it is all of the ridiculous shit.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I think they lost the balance on.
Is
the
it
show
got a little bit too much of the fantasy stuff instead
the
of
silly stuff it was just stopped being as funny. Like the drive of the show was the emotional stuff at that point, and the silly stuff felt like a distraction, and it felt like it was undermining the character growth that had happened. Like it feels like a back tread in some ways. Like the JD and Turk relationship specifically, it's like you guys are fucking adults with kids. Like, come the fuck on. At some point,
I mean, I will disagree with you on that. It's too good. Guy love is too good.
I mean, in season 9, it's not.
Ugh, that doesn't count though.
But even in season 8, I think that's like the weakest part of season 8. I would say
That's fair, I guess. I mean, you're allowed to have your incorrect opinion.
And at that point in the show, I'm kind of over that stuff, and I didn't think they were doing it as well.
I mean, yeah,
they didn't evolve it.
Seasons like 7 and 8, maybe 6, but certainly 7 and 8, like they're a bit lackluster. Like, there's still the moments, obviously, and the finale. I think it was perfect. But
I think it's the emotional, dramatic stuff, and like the actual like part of these character relationships that's carrying forward. It's the filler parts that I'm like just annoyed by. But also like it's just one of those things where they were probably just making too many. They were like contractually obligated to make too many episodes for those seasons, considering their plot, and to like keep the budget down. A bunch of main characters wouldn't appear in every episode. They were like, all right, you're going to be 8 episodes with no Carla or something. In some of those later ones.
JD's going to be on a phone this whole episode.
Just because JD's not going to be in this episode or something. Just because they couldn't afford to pay the actors because they were getting so much money.
Yeah.
To keep the show going. Because they weren't going to keep doing it if they weren't getting that money.
Yeah. I was just on the Wikipedia article, and I think I've seen other stuff in the same realm over the years. They're mentioning how every medical case in the show was like handed to them by one of their medical consultants. Like, this is a thing that happened. And I don't know. I think between that and just how the relationships, like romantic or otherwise, between characters work, I always end up thinking about something I saw like way back when it was running still, and at some point I read somewhere that America's medical community voted Scrubs the most realistic medical show. Because, like, I don't know what else. Like, what are you running against? Grey's Anatomy, House? I don't think so. Like,
I mean, ER was the big one for a really long time. Although the thing I really remember about ER off the top of my head was just when a character. This was after Clooney had left. Was like there's just a scene where a character dies because a helicopter falls on them and explodes.
Oh no! Yeah.
Just like, whoa, ER, what are you doing?
How delayed was the explosion? Did it fall and then people are like, maybe he's okay, and then it explodes, or was it just instantaneous?
No. I'm pretty sure it's instantaneous.
Oh, that's
like,
lame.
It's gonna take it's like up this helicopter, it just goes wrong and boom.
If you're gonna do it, at least do the bit. Like, no, that's pretty crazy. Or like the Grey's Anatomy thing where the guy's like trapped in cement and just.
Yeah, I never watched Grey's Anatomy, so I have zero context.
Yeah,
I couldn't deal with it. I watched like an episode and couldn't take it.
You know why I dislike them? They're fucking cop shows. They're just cop shows with a different skin.
They're procedurals.
You put a stethoscope on a pile of shit. You're not fooling me.
I mean, I like cop shows. Okay, if they're good, I'm fine with that.
There's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then there's the bad ones.
I like Homicide: Life on the Street.
I really don't like cop shows.
I like The Wire.
Okay, The Wire, I'm almost not counting.
Well, I mean, the other one I'm counting, Homicide: Life on the Street, is like
are we
inspired by the same writer.
Are you talking about shows that involve cops, or are we talking about cop shows?
I mean, Law and Order's okay.
iZombie, Law and Order SVU, CSI,
Law and Order
Miami,
is okay.
NCIS.
Law and Order SVU is really annoying. Law and Order CSI is worse. I like NCIS actually. It's like the big one that I was okay with till they got rid of all the main characters, or too many of them.
No, my big. Honestly,
got rid of Ziva.
What sort of? I never really disliked them. Like, they weren't my thing, but I didn't really dislike them until I got burned twice in a row. I'm like, oh, iZombie. Like, chick comes back as a zombie, and like is dealing with that. That seems like an interesting. It's a fucking. Why does she have to help the FBI? Why is this a thing suddenly? Okay, whatever. Ditch that. Never look back.
So that one's based on a comic that has an artist I really like. So
that's fair.
I honestly, when I look at that show, I'm just like, yeah, but this isn't Mike Allred art. Mike Allred art looks amazing.
And then the other one was, I don't even remember the name. Like, I
mean, so your problem is you watch bad shows.
No,
you're like,
this
genre's bad because I watch these bad shows in this genre.
And then there was a show that I didn't even watch. I'm just like, they're doing their, I don't even know the term, like pre-show hype fest, like over summer maybe or whatever. Like these new shows coming this fall. And one of them looked interesting. It's like this chick wakes up in the middle of the city, like tattoos all over her body, has no idea, and the tattoos all linked to different crimes. God damn it. Like, I'm seeing all these shows, and they're cop shows every time. Why are they all cop shows?
Because cop shows it's a formula that works.
And that's if
you're making shows in bulk, you make shows based on the formula that is successful in other examples.
Yeah, well, the fact that cop shows are dominating TV just speaks to the fact that old people watch TV.
Yes, only old people watch TV is the other thing.
Anyway.
Also, NCIS was good, though.
Looping back around. Remember that time the janitor played a cop?
I don't remember when he played a cop.
It was some other movie that Neil Flynn had been in. So, like, the whole time he, like, has one scene where he's, on a subway.
Is he in The Fugitive? Is that what he was in?
I think so, yeah. That sounds correct.
Fugitive's a good movie. But yeah, that bit's, I love that bit. I love that bit.
I'm just like, it's so good. I just like his stuff in the show is so top notch because like 90% of it is just ad-libbed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm also just like a fan of a character who just hates the main character. It's just like singularly hatred for this our main character. I like that. It's a good formula.
he was supposed to be like a figment of JD's imagination for some reason. And like in the first season, I think you can like see that. Like just based on his interactions or like only with JD. But he was too good. Like people liked him too much. So, like, okay, I guess he's real now.
Yeah, it's better if he's real.
Oh yeah. And it like led to so many great things. Yeah, no, his some of the not I guess kind of deleted scenes. I think on some of the DVDs there's like it's not even deleted scenes, it's just maybe it was in with like bloopers because it was basically just outtakes. So there's one of him just doing the same exact scene and his line each time, like absurdly long thing. Like he has to go on a tangent and each time it's just glorious. But, you know, obviously only one can go in.
Can't use every take. Shouldn't use every take.
Shouldn't use every take. What is that, Ed Wood? Is that the Johnny Depp movie with the like worst director in Hollywood or whatever?
That's harsh. That's a harsh thing to say about Ed Wood.
Oh, I think that's what it like the tagline for the movie was.
Probably.
I'm not saying it. I'm just repeating it.
Yeah, the thing, Ed Wood just never, he died broke, so it's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
If you actually think about the story of his life. Compared to, like, Tommy Wiseau, who's, like, made money off of his terrible movie.
Who's he again?
The Room.
Right. I was thinking that. I'm like, terrible movie that made money recently. Probably The Room. Which I still have not seen. Is it
watch
like,
The Room.
Oh boy.
We should have a view. We should do a commentary track for that.
On a scale of 1 to Book of Henry, what am I expecting here?
Probably Book of Henry.
Oh boy. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
I mean, The Room is kind of like the best bad movie, in my opinion. It's just such a fucking
fair.
disaster. Also, like, I've gone to screening, like, it's the one that has like screenings monthly in New York where people like have their set lines for certain things. Like there's a painting of a spoon, so whenever the spoon shows up, people start throwing spoons from the background.
Okay. I did see something about
There's a
that.
part where like he looks in the corner and like people run down so that he's saying hi to them. They wave.
It's from I've seen a bit of stuff like that because people are like quoting all the lines and shit. So it's kind of like a modern day Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's exactly that.
Okay.
And it's just been it's been interesting just having that happen again because like going to those things, like you've seen it develop. Like there were parts that didn't have set things, and there were parts that they figured out.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And then I also saw Tommy Wiseau show up at one of those ones because he was showing off his terrible TV pilot he made.
Oh boy,
it was terrible.
That sounds about correct.
Yeah, you should watch. We should watch that together, and then let's talk about it.
It can be arranged.
That should happen. But
I mean, you've ruined any chance at like a good segue back into
nope, it's over.
The topic at hand.
I don't know what to do with the topic at hand anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to phrase this perfectly. I don't know. There's a lot of, and some of this is from watching like the commentary and stuff. Just a lot of the neat like the things that they got to do because of some of the dumb bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, coming to mind is the their 100th episode was Wizard of Oz. And I don't know, just how they went all out in that episode to like make it all Wizard of Oz references. I think there were some that I didn't catch until just way later because I was young enough that but I don't know. There's a lot of, and that was also an episode that just the ending, and it ended like with a nice song. There was a good shot, and it's kind of like an embodiment of the series to me. It's like it's kind of nice. It's just like a nice series that has, the occasional sad moments, which are good because they're potent and not too frequent. Doctor Who, but
that's not the complaint I would lob at Doctor Who, but that's fine.
I'm lobbing it solely because like there's having good emotional moments and there's just throwing them out to
also I don't know what part of
emotional.
Doctor Who you're necessarily talking about because
the whole part.
They're different. Different parts.
I mean, okay, you
just
you
because my favorite part.
A show will have different.
I feel it this most strongly because I feel like the Christopher Eccleston season, which is my favorite, is much different than the rest of Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose when you have a different main character.
I mean, that's just he's the one that's the most angry, which is what I like about it.
Oh, yeah,
He's
of
the
course.
most
Okay,
bitter
that
and
that
angry.
explains it.
So, and like sad and like he's the most emotionally fraught. It's more interesting.
Okay.
And then David Tennant was good, and then everything after that was garbage. That's how I
fair.
feel about Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't know. We could do like a rant podcast, and I can just
right.
like go off on random things.
Yeah, I just wanted to getting back to my thoughts on some of the later stuff. Like I didn't. The part of the thing that I like about the end was how they handled JD and Elliot getting back together. Like I think they did that really well for these two characters who've like dated a bunch, then gone their separate ways, then decided they actually do want to be together. Like I think they handled that the way that worked well.
Yes. No, it was a very smooth trend. Like the whole thing with them was actually pretty smooth. I don't remember any moments offhand, specifically with like JD and Elliot over all the seasons where I was like, nah, this thing is stupid. Like, I think their relationship by and large has been. What is
There's
there
like
some part?
there's
that
like
was-
a part. I mean, there was a part where like she was, I forget, she was gonna like marry. Like she was with someone else, and JD confessed to her, and then decided he didn't want to be with her. That was infuriating.
Oh,
That happened.
yeah.
That was stupid.
I could see that as being stupid. For me, I'm like, oh, fuck, no, that's shitty. Cause like,
Yeah.
I used to be that way a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were a couple times in high school that like had a thing for a chick, and then stuff started to happen. Like, nah, like never mind.
You're totally right that that's a realistic way for someone can be shitty in a relationship, where it's just like wanting the thing you can't have, and if it's presented to you, you get scared and run away, which is like part of the arc of JD's character is like him getting scared of things he could have.
The girl who didn't laugh, which probably is like his top number one dickish line in the whole series is when he breaks up with her, and she's in the bushes crying, and he's talking to Turk. You know what's funny? She's not saying that's so sad. Like, just fucking destroys her for no reason. Ruthless.
Like that's Seinfeld-esque.
Yeah, I think that's a moment that people point to where they're like, yeah, JD actually is like he's an asshole, blah blah blah. Like, I don't care. Like, it was a good line. It's a great line.
Sometimes people are terrible. It happens.
Also, I think there's a lot of stuff in that show that you might not. Well, this is one of those things like I don't necessarily know what regular television can get away with these days, or can or can't get away with. Because like once you get into shit like HBO or Netflix or whatever, like
I think theoretically TV can just get away with more since Game of Thrones is the most popular thing.
Well, I was thinking more from like a I guess, sort of a politically correct standpoint, because like there was one thing where with like all of the old queens. That was like the thing. Like JD was talking about his half acre and how it had become a local hangout for senior, like elderly queens, and there were like all these gay guys that drove bugs. That, and then like Ted wanting to commit suicide like every episode he's in. I don't know. I just feel like especially like the suicide thing might be more touchy these days. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's totally
I
unfounded.
don't think so. It
Okay.
seems pretty unfounded. Like Shameless exists.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the description I was told of it, and you can just tell me how off or on it is. Kid from like the ghettos gets into nice college and is awkward about it.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Shameless is a dysfunctional family thing.
Okay. So I'm assuming that this person was misremembering the title of the show.
Just different show you're talking about, apparently.
Okay. No, that is almost the exact description that I was given as a like intro to this person being like, yeah, the show is really good. Okay.
That's weird.
That's pretty great.
Because it's...
No, that doesn't sound like it at all.
It's William H. Macy has like he has like 6 kids. 6 kids. And he's a complete alcoholic, and things are bad, but it's funny. It's just gross. It's just like the grossest thing, but funny. I haven't watched that much of it, honestly. So I'm not an expert either. Yeah, but my other point about how good the JD Elliott stuff was, I think that some of the JD, his like previous relationship, which I forget the actress's name, who he has a kid with, and then
fuck,
they have to go through that whole thing.
It's not Kate Hudson. Starts with a K, I think. Oh,
Elizabeth Banks.
There was a K in it. There was definitely a K in it.
Yeah, I liked her. I just thought they didn't handle that relationship the best. That was because that's also when the testicular thing is happening, by the way. So
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was season 5 that happened during the big writer's strike, which is why it's so short. And some of it is weird.
That's around then, I think. But
I'm 99% certain that's when the writer's strike happened. Because even like looking at the seasons on DVD, it's like, why are there only like a third of the episodes? Yeah, maybe that's why. Some guy who hadn't quit yet had really been wanting to write that testicle arc, and he finally got his chance.
Oh man,
like.
Can't.
Fuck, Donnie came to us with the balls thing again. Do we have anything else on the line? No. Christ. Just put it, just do it, just run it.
I couldn't. I can't. I'll never get over that. I'll never get over it. If it had just been about Turk losing a ball, okay, I could have gotten over it. When it was about threatening to destroy his other testicle, that was when.
Yeah.
That was when it was in a never forget category.
Man, what a champ! Like, weren't they? I think at one point they're like walking through a store looking at like prosthetics.
Probably. Like they went all out on that plot line.
They really just did it up.
They sucked it for all it was worth. I mean, except, actually destroying his other testicle.
You could say that things got a little nutty.
Things got a little crazy go nuts.
Oh. I still think, like, probably one of the best recurring jokes is Rowdy. Like, Rowdy is he's so wholesome.
He's pretty good.
And then there's,
dog.
what is it, Steve? Steve is, like, the replacement or whatever. There's two of them.
Uh,
Like, yeah, when she first gets him, the janitor is like, he's like it's like a third or a quarter inch shorter or something, and Turk's on the couch, like, measuring him up because he noticed, like, just by looking at him.
good stuff.
I get it, stuffed, 'cause it's a stuffed dog. Clever. Clever.
And it's also, I mean, I just want to talk the Dr. Cox thing, where they get rid of him as his job, but then he's just still in the show for this whole season. He's like, did you think, like, when he's just hanging out and eating?
Oh,
he's
Dr.
just like
Kelso?
Yeah, Dr. Kelso. Rather.
Okay, I was gonna say Dr. Cox.
Yeah,
like,
no. When
okay.
Kelso is like, they've like written him out of the structure of the show, but he's still in the show.
Yeah, but it's fucking great though.
And it's actually better.
Yeah, like,
it's like a turn. It's like such a good turn for that character. Where like suddenly, instead of being like
well, he doesn't have to be the asshole anymore.
Yeah, he's just suddenly he's the best. It's kind of amazing. It's just one of those. It's like, oh, this is a good example of a show that's gone on too long. Like finding a new thing.
Yeah,
like again, sometimes shows go on too long and it's just the same old shit that they're just doing because they've done it. And sometimes you discover new things. Like magic can happen.
Like muffins for life.
Muffins for life.
Until at the end he like steals his favorite table and drives off.
Yeah.
God, Dr. Kelso is just pretty great.
Yeah.
Like even just his side shit with like his wife. Like paralyzed, whatever just... else. I don't know. He is the exact reason, they're literally the reason why I desperately want to try a Bahama Mama. Like, I want to go somewhere and order Bahama Mama, heavy on the mama. Like, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say about Scrubs is, they did everything they could. It wasn't, I don't feel like there's Scrubs left on the table because of season 9, the disaster that it was. It's like, oh, you went just too far.
Yeah.
But
I think
we can just forget about that and say you did everything you needed to do for a TV sitcom. You had a full run.
I do think they could have, like, if they would have done it correctly as a spin-off and kept more of the characters, like Aziz Ansari and stuff, like, that could have been great. But no, like, Scrubs as is. It is good, and it's good that it's no longer on.
Yeah. It needed to end.
They did. When did they start? And I'm thinking about, like, all the guest stars that they pumped in. Quite a lot of people, didn't they? Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox was recurring.
Yeah, he came in a couple times.
I actually really liked his character. Because, I mean, they played into his actual stuff. But giving him an OCD character.
I mean, they had... I was going to say the guy... I can't think of his name now. Guy who played Chandler on Friends.
I don't remember that character.
Is it like Matthew someone?
I mean, I remember...
I was going to say him, but maybe it was enough after Friends that getting him was, like, not expensive or anything.
I mean, Brendan Fraser was a big one.
Yeah. Also, chick who played Courtney Cox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean just guy from why can't I think of it? It wasn't Toto, was it? No. Men at Work.
Men at Work.
He did like the acoustic guitar thing. Like he's just rolling around for an episode like singing.
Hmm.
And then eventually like Dr. Cox gets pissed at him and just takes the guitar and beats the shit out of it.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But like it was the actual guy and I don't know. It was neat.
That's fair.
Because I just remember that like watching that episode for the first time and my dad was on the couch and he's just like, what the hell? Like what? Dude rolls on the screen like, okay, like I guess we're doing this.
Yeah. It felt like, I mean, it felt like it's like, yeah, we're big enough we can get all these people.
Yeah, we can
get anyone we want.
Yeah, we can do stuff now. And the musical episode.
Yeah, the musical episode is really good.
What a treasure. What a musical episode done right. Actually,
I mean, I don't think of a musical episode that was a mistake off the top of my head in terms of in good shows.
yeah.
They're usually a good idea. And they're because they're done well. Like the musical episode of Buffy is the only episode of Buffy I like. I don't actually care about that show, but I like that musical episode.
I forget there was the musical episode. I forget if it happened before or after that. There was an episode with a lady, like the character was I think a Broadway star in the show or something, or like actress or play person, something. And in real life, like the person they got to play her was a former Broadway star. And they all had some singing roles in that. And I think it would make sense if it was after, but I can't remember. That one had
only remember the musical episode.
Yeah, no, that's fair. This one had like the singing only came up in like the end because she was like, maybe she wasn't a Broadway star, because there was some analogy about like, the topic of death comes up quite a bit on the show. Like they discuss it at various points from different perspectives of patients.
Yeah,
and she was just kind of talking about how she imagined like death is one big like show and everybody's dressed all like to the nines and stuff. And so then when she like passes away, it was a really nice ending. It was a really good cap on an episode.
That's fair. I'm trying to remember what season it was that like ended with what could have been a series finale, but it wasn't. It was one of the points where they thought the show was going to be over before
Do you remember what happened?
I just remember like at the end there was like a montage where like Snow by the Red Hot Chili Peppers is playing while JD like leaves the hospital. I just remember that sequence.
It would probably help if I could remember what the song Snow was.
That's fair. It has a guitar riff at the beginning of it that's like super memorable.
Oh, I must be the only song with a guitar riff at the beginning. Super memorable, he says. Call up the local radio station and be like, oh shit, you mean Snow, right? I'll put it on.
God damn it. Whatever.
I mean, that sounds...
There was definitely a point where they were like, they were gonna end it, and then it didn't.
That sounds like, I mean, the ending of season 8 was a bit of a montage, but that was like future montage stuff. I don't know. It might have been, I would venture to say 7 or 6.
Yeah, I feel like there were multiple seasons after that one. But
maybe 6. I forget. It was either 6 or 7 where they thought. No, I want to say. Okay, maybe there were multiple ones, and I just am misremembering. I know 7. They had a thing at the end, I think, because they weren't sure if they were gonna get to do their 8th season.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's why, like, ABC bought them or whatever, and they did their final season. They just stopped before it happened again, where they couldn't finish it when they wanted.
Mm. Yeah, season 7's the super short one.
Okay, so 7 is really short. Okay,
Yeah.
I 5 was still like during the strike though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7 was only 11 episodes.
Okay, that I'm just
It was like half a season.
all the DVD covers kind of meshed together. You can only get people in so many different poses.
It's fair.
I want to say 7 was the one where they were all wearing white though. I feel like that's just any show eventually has a cover of the series where they're wearing white, just solid colors.
Yeah, they also did the thing with 7 where like the first half of it aired from like in like November, and then they didn't get back to the second half of it till April.
Yeah,
It's just like
of
it's
11 episodes.
yeah,
Cutting it into-
like here are 6 episodes, and here's 6 episodes half a year later or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
fuck are you doing? Fuck are you doing?
we're trying to save a sinking ship.
Well, it's sinking ship of the super popular, successful thing that we want to keep making because it makes us lots of money. I don't understand TV
Yeah.
sometimes.
I don't think TV understands TV sometimes.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, what would you say the odds are of this episode ending with a Scrubs like recap monologue thing?
0.
0? Put a little echo effect on.
Nah.
I mean, I'll do the talking. You can be in the background, like ba 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 ba. It'll be great. I don't know what we learned. Did we learn anything today? have I learned any life lessons?
I don't think I've learned any life lessons. Ever.
Well, wait. Okay, we'll bust it out in another episode then.
Alright. That's
Totally-
the
totally.
curveball.
200 episodes from now. Remember when they talked about Scrubs?
No. No one remembers.
No one remembers. Eh.
You know what? Scrubs is okay. It's pretty good. I
It's
don't know
really-
that I can ever watch it again.
I will at some point. The likelihood of that has gone down since Netflix doesn't. Wait, no, I lied. I have it on my computer. I can watch it whatever the fuck I want.
I don't know. I'd probably have to be watching it with someone. I would never, I don't think I would watch it by myself anymore. Too many things to do. Too many other things to watch.
That's I was gonna say. I have a lot of stuff, even just on Netflix. I have quite a few films, and then like shows that I want to catch up on.
Whenever me and my friend look at Netflix, all we see are terrible things we don't want to watch. I never see anything there I actually want to watch.
I still wanted to do Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I
And
saw that in
The
theaters.
Prestige.
I've seen that.
Yeah, well, okay.
That's a good movie.
Some of us don't.
That's
go
a
to
good
every
movie.
It
Prestige is
looked like a good movie. I saw someone watching it on one of my transatlantic flights, and I intentionally like looked away and decided not to look anymore because it looked like a great film, and I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my favorite Nolan movie until Dunkirk might be my new favorite Nolan movie, I think.
I have heard good things about it.
Yeah, I
think
I compare it to Mad Max in terms of like its visual storytelling ability.
Still haven't seen Mad Max.
Okay, that one you need to see.
Yeah, I know. I know that I need to see these things. Like, I also haven't seen The Godfather, which is now on Netflix, apparently. It's one of those things that I want to see because like.
Okay, The Godfather is a thing you need to see. Mad Max is like you should just go watch Mad Max immediately.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Godfather is like kind of like homework.
The only movie that actually I saw it on Netflix. I'm like, yeah, this looks like it's like 3 hours long. I don't want to do this. It's 3 hours long and it doesn't involve dropping a ring into a volcano. I'm not interested.
And you got to watch The Godfather 2 also. You don't got to watch 3, but
that is what I've heard. Yeah, the only movie I've seen lately was Greatest Showman.
How was that?
I really enjoyed it.
My friend described it as, yeah, it was a movie.
I liked it, I think, just because, like, I liked it in, like, a lowbrow way, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. Like, me and Anya went to see it with some of my friends, and she was talking about how, like, it's by the people who did La La Land, and she's like, yeah, La La Land was so much better. I'm like, okay, well, yes, but to me, they're two different things. Like, one of them is this serious work that has a story, and the other one is The Circus with Zac Efron.
Okay, but La La Land kind of sucks, and you're saying this is not as good as that.
No, she's saying it's not as good as that. I like it more than La La Land.
Okay.
I'm biased because it's Hugh fucking Jackman.
I mean, that version of Les Mis he was in is not good.
Whatever. You know what? You're a hater.
Logan was good. Logan was really good.
See, I just don't do X-Men.
Good movies?
I don't do X-Men.
I mean, it's easily better than all the other X-Men movies on account of Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart actually got to act in that one.
That's fair. I saw a bit of it, and it actually, like, it was randomly on TV when I was at someone's house, and it looked okay. Maybe because it wasn't, like, it was a superhero movie, but it wasn't a superhero movie.
It's not really a superhero movie.
That's what I just said.
It's not.
It's a superhero movie, but it's not a superhero movie.
It's a comic book movie.
Well, I mean, it involved a guy with claws coming out of his fists.
I mean, that story is based on a.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay,
they're splitting hairs at this point.
It's not.
Either way, he still wasn't as good as that as he was in Australia.
No, you're just wrong.
All right, point.
But
Ben.
also,
thanks for watching.
You don't need to see Logan. You need to watch Mad Max first. So that's fine.
We'll get there. Is it on Netflix?
I don't know. I don't have Netflix. I go over to my friend's place and we watch something on Netflix occasionally, usually like Voltron or Stranger Things, and then we look at all the terrible kids shit that's on there, and just go, "This is terrible."
Excuse you.
I mean, we'll listen to the theme song to Dino Squad every time, but that's getting taken off Netflix. They take it off Dino Squad.
They put on Planet Earth 2. I've been waiting for that for so long. I'm super excited about Planet Earth 2. Anyway, thanks for watching. It's been an episode of Salt Circle. We discussed Scrubs. We agreed on Australia being the best Hugh Jackman film.
I don't agree to that. I never endorsed this viewpoint. I did not vote for this.
Well, it's what you said with your eyes. I can feel your eyes twinkling as you imagine Hugh Jackman in Australia. My eyes
never twinkle. Now you're just telling lies.
I could definitely hear it.
Look, the important thing is that we've come from nothing. We've learned nothing. And isn't that the greatest lesson of all?
Anyway,
fuck.
That's that sounds like a rap.
Oh no.
Sounds like an episode.
My thing.
Do you wanna read off our information?
I mean, I want to, but I misplaced the fucking thing I have the stuff written on.
I thought you had it memorized all this time.
All this time, hell
no. Oh no.
saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Salt Circle on Twitter. Salt Circle. Soundcloud.com/Salt Circle. I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm on Twitter at bean_LP.
Fuck.
Hugh Jackman. More like Hugh Jack me, am I right?